Another day, another double-digit Michigan State football defeat, and did this one at least feel different? I guess. Doesn't matter.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you will get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, how on earth are we all doing to end another game weekend here? Right on Locked On Spartans, and a genuine thank you from the bottom of my heart for continuing to tune in to Locked On Spartans in the midst of what is now another, I'll say it, a lost season, it seems like. But aren't we used to this at this point? Please rate, review, subscribe, and I promise we'll be a little bit more cheery here for at least 3 minutes in this first segment because, yeah, Michigan State 13, the Indiana Fighting Signettis 38. And, yeah, that game went pretty much nearly how all of us thought that was going to go. I don't think anyone's really too shocked with the outcome. If anything, people might be surprised it was that close, and I'm kind of included in that group. We'll get to that, what felt different about this game. But first, I got to say, that felt like we were watching a rerun of last season for a second. That felt really familiar. Offense moving the ball pretty well the first quarter. Oh, my God, Nick Marsh has a really good touchdown. Hey, like, whoa, for a millisecond, dare I say we can believe that the unthinkable is going to happen? And then just right when you think that, that's when Signetti just pulls out 15 daggers and just drives them right into your heart. Yeah, that felt like a rerun of last year, just on a different field. So we all knew the outcome was inevitable, but if not for nothing else, for 2 seconds, we felt that, hey, maybe it's going to be different. No, the outcome is not different, but something about the game felt, I guess, a little different than the last few weeks. And before I, go frolicking through the daisies of how I thought some things looked good, like, look, let me be upfront. If you listened to even 5 minutes of any episodes last week, you know my opinion now. After saying that, hey, this was a good hire, it's all going to work out. No, after the UCLA game, after you parlayed that with what you did in the Nebraska game, and after, things not looking too good in the USC game, but that's the least of our worries right now, I sold all of my shares in the Jonathan Smith stock. I'm ready to just go ahead and just move on to the next thing. So with that said, hey, you know what? Allow me to just at least bring a ray of sun into things because, I don't know, I'm kind of tired of just being negative 24/7. I'm sure that you're tired of hearing it. And believe me, we'll get back on the negative train here in a second. But it did feel different, if not, just like for no other good things going on. The offense looked better for a half. What are we doing? This is ridiculous. But truly, it did look different for a half. Childs looked better. He looked dialed in. And they actually got him in rhythm, something that they talked about last week after the UCLA game of, hey, we're not doing a good job of getting this young man in rhythm. Okay, they exploited the screen game. They did a really good job of using the outside, very similar to an Iowa game plan, which Iowa kept Indiana pretty close. Michigan State was able to do that for a half, but basically playing keep away with the ball here. I mean, time of possession going into halftime, 20 minutes for Michigan State, 10-ish minutes for Indiana. They held Indiana to just 3 possessions. You wanted to go out and execute a game plan. The offense actually did that pretty much for the most part. You could have used a little bit more than 13 points, but hey, that's such is life here with Michigan State football. It can never be completely executed. It can only be mostly executed on one side of the ball here. And let's just talk about that. That was fun being positive for a little bit. They got Aiden Childs in rhythm. He looked good. Thought pass protection was okay in the first half. You got Connor Moore playing left tackle, Rustin on at right tackle. Only gave up 1 sack in the first half. That turned into 3 in the second half. But let's talk about why this turned out to be a 25-point game here. Because it was just only mostly executed, right? The offense, it's the least of our worries this game, even though they only scored 13 points. But, you kind of wave the game goodbye at the end of the first half on 3rd and 8 when you couldn't run the ball for a lick in the first half. And I get it, you want to establish the run. I don't know if you want to do it on 3rd and 8 at the very end of the half where it seems inevitable that the passing game is the only way you're going to move the ball here. They tried an outside run, went for 1 yard. Next thing you know, 4th and 7 on Indiana's 38-yard line, and they do that weird punt that Childs has practiced twice every Thursday practice. But again, I'm not going to yell or even get just moderately upset at that, because what you can get upset about, this is Fugazi. I can't even bring myself to yell about the defense. They are who they are at this point. What did you expect? A team that could all of a sudden tackle well? Oh, well, you thought that all of a sudden after 6 weeks they were going to finally align correctly on some of these plays? No, it was more of the same. And this is how you got a game where Fernando Mendoza, who, if he's not sitting in one of those 3 or 4 chairs in New York at the end of the season, I'd be stunned. He had 4 touchdowns, and even more damning, he only had 4 incompletions. So, good job, defense. You gave 7 pressures on Fernando Mendoza. No sacks, not even a quarterback hit, according to Pro Football Focus. And I got to agree with Pro Football Focus. I don't ever remember seeing Mendoza on the ground during this game. You don't even have to do his laundry. And just for comparison, 7 pressures generated by Michigan State's defense. On the flip side of the field, Indiana had 16 pressures on Aiden Childs and 4 sacks, I should say. There's something interesting here that I saw from Pro Football Focus that I don't actually agree with. And I do like Pro Football Focus. We reference them all the time here. And not their grades so much, because that could be pretty opinion-based, but they're hard, actual stats that you can count with your fingers and sometimes your toes if you need it. And one of those is missed tackles. Pro Football Focus had Michigan State down for 9 missed tackles. And also, I'll straight up say it, I don't believe that, because I saw 4 or 5 missed tackles on a single play on Kalen Black's 29-yard touchdown run that eventually was the go-ahead touchdown dagger for Indiana here. So, look, this is where I kind of empathize with Joe Rossi, the defensive coordinator. There's a lot of people coming for his head. A lot of people saying you got to fire him. At this point, you have to. Just on principle, you have to. It's been looking terrible. But you also, you got to recognize that Joe Rossi isn't the one tackling the guys out there, right? He's not the guy that has to go out to the field, and if it's coach football for 6-year-olds, then, okay, oh, no, I'm going to scoot this guy over here. No, we're not lined up correctly. Here you are. You'd hope that they could line up correctly during the game, but of course it all ladders up to coaching. But I do empathize with him, and we've talked about this ever since the USC game. It's clearly this roster is not polished enough to play Big Ten football, right? So, you got a guy that was a spot starter at East Carolina last year, playing 40-plus snaps against the Indiana Hoosiers. How do you think that's going to go? It went precisely how you thought it did. So, yes, while I do empathize with Rossi, he's kind of coaching with the hand tied behind his back. It all ladders up eventually, right? It'd be a thing if it was just a few games here or there. No, it's every game the defense is getting just absolutely pummeled. But yeah, look, I walked away from that game thinking hey, not as bad as I thought, right? I thought the team was going to lose 80-3. 80-3. Yeah, that probably came off as a joke when we were previewing this game with Locked On Hoosiers, but no, genuinely, that's what I thought the score was going to be here. So look, did it look as bad as we thought it could? No. But at the same time, what are we doing here? Still being content with covering the spread, losing by 25 points? Watching the first half, and I kid you not, guys, not even feeling my blood pressure rise a single beat while they're missing those tackles on the Kalen Black run, while they're running a stretch run play on 3rd and 8 when they couldn't run the play. I didn't feel anything. I don't know if it's apathy. I don't know if it's numbness. I don't know if I've finally just grown up and stopped being attached way more than a healthy adult should be to a college football team. But I'll tell you what, that felt different too. Just not really even being all jarred by a 25-point loss. I miss when this meant something. I actually miss when I was stressed, when I was riddled with anxiety during game days in a game that I cannot control. But it has just been the norm now for way too long, to the point where, that also has to change. And I'm not the only fan saying this either. Ryan wrote into lockedonspartans@gmail.com. The score sucked, but that MSU team looked a lot different than the one who came out against UCLA, talked great things about Childs, and also said the run game wasn't that good. Papa Maddox, one of my favorite emailers out there, he wrote in, I actually feel okay about today's loss. I thought it would be worse. How about you? Can we, in fact, win another game or two? I think so, says Papa Maddox. But I got a lot of tweets like that. I got some texts like that. And hey, that actually, looked better than what I thought. At the end of the day, it's still a 25-point loss. All right. And it's not even against Indiana. No, Indiana's a juggernaut now. We're all very used to that now at this point, even in just 2 years. But man, I need a team that can compete, and I need to feel energy again on game day. I mean, is that asking a lot? I hope not. But hey, lucky for us, we got a rivalry week that might instill some energy here in a hot second. But guys, first, before we get to a bunch of that, let's talk about FanDuel Sportsbook. Yes, the NFL season is here, and the FanDuel Sportsbook, they have an offer that you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet. Put down $5, and if it hits, you will unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Guys, we're going to talk about it here in a little bit, but this Michigan game coming up, your Spartans are underdogs at home by nearly 2 touchdowns. At the time of recording, it's a 12.5-point spread. If you are not sold whatever on Jonathan Smith, you think they're going to get a dagger thrown into them, go ahead. Fade Michigan State. If you believe what you saw on Saturday was a sign of, hey, some heart, some compete, an offense that could stay in the game, go ahead, guys. Hey, take the 12.5 points. But guys, no matter what you do, if you're a new customer, make sure that you sign up, you place that first $5 bet, and again, if you win, that is going to be $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. What are you waiting for out there, guys? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Also, all you business owners out there, you're going to want Quo in your life. One of the tools that help make a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly known as Open Phone. It's the same great business phone system you've heard me talk about time and time again with just a new name, and here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. When every customer conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying 2 phones or relying on a landline, guys. It is that easy. See why over 90,000 businesses, that's right, I said it, 90,000 businesses trust Quo, again, formerly known as Open Phone. Get started for free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/lockedoncollege. That's QUO.com/lockedoncollege. And if you've got an existing number with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. It's Quo, no missed calls, no missed customer. All right, we'll get a little bit into this rivalry game, but first, I just want to talk about what came out of the post-game press conferences. I don't think there was too much to glean. Jonathan Smith seemed like his typical self, although, albeit shorter answers, it seemed like he talked about one-on-one tackling. He talked about defensive misalignment and then proper shading technique not being executed. And what that is, okay, are you going to line up on the inside of the receiver's shoulder or the outside of the receiver's shoulder? Because, well, if you're on the outside and they're going to run the slant, you got a blitzing linebacker, that's going to leave you susceptible to a pitch and catch all day long. But regardless, what are we going to do? Talk about alignment issues even more? That's MSU's identity on defense. It's just not lining up correctly. It's clear at this point. But anyway, there was one quote going around, or a tweet going around on Twitter from Aiden Childs, and I don't think it added proper context. And I'm not going to call the tweeter out because I don't think anything malicious was meant by it or that they meant to set it up. And I think they do great work. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't even worry about it. But there was a tweet going around that was basically saying that, hey, Childs said he was proud of how they played today rather than UCLA. It kind of made him sound like that he straight up said, we played better today and tried harder than we did today against UCLA, and I'm proud of that. That's not actually how that quote went. The question asker, and I don't know who it was, said, hey, it seemed to be that the effort on the field was higher today than it was against UCLA. So Childs didn't straight up name drop UCLA. He did say that, okay, we were appreciative of how we played today. He said time again, not satisfied with the outcome, still got to execute, but was just proud of how the team played. So just want to clear that up. I hope I articulated that correctly, and it's not to white knight Aiden Childs here, but yeah, I mean, it's a quote that was, I think, a good one from your quarterback. You're trying to get the train back on the track somehow here. We're going to be praiseful of my guys, but yeah, it's not like he straight up said, yeah, we didn't really try against UCLA, and I'm very tried in a 25-point loss that we actually tried today. That's not how it truly was. I just want to bring that up. Anyway, guys, now what? I mean, that's 2 ways. Now what? The first one is what to do with Smith, because it really does feel like a not if, but when situation. We all move on from this thing. And I was very reluctant to believe that, hey, this could even be an option this year. But I don't know. Ever since Penn State dropped $50 million to can James Franklin and seeing that this doesn't appear to be going anywhere under Jonathan Smith, I think that, yeah, something will happen here. I've changed my tune on that because, yeah, I really think that the Penn State thing would possibly light a fire under this administration, the athletic department, and most importantly, the donors here. So for Smith, typical game week, we get emails and tweets that, hey, we got to fire Smith. I don't think you can him now. And we are recording early Sunday. Typically, something like this would happen on a Sunday. So this would be the Locked On Spartans jinx of Locked On Spartans jinxes right here. But I don't think they do it today on the Sunday. Do you do it post-Michigan game if it goes south next week? That can go one of two ways, I think. Now, school thought number one is that you can him, you fire him, you give yourself some time, just like Penn State is giving themselves, just like Arkansas is giving themselves. You get in this coaching pool early. And it also shows Michigan State fans that you care because next Saturday, if or when it doesn't go well, that's going to set a record for most tweets and emails this show has gotten about firing Smith. I mean, after that rivalry game, people are going to be out for even more blood than they already have been out to be. You fire him right after that game. Okay, that's J-Bat sending a message that we hear you. We will not stand for this either. Let's just flip the script here. School thought number two is that you wait until after the following week at Minnesota, another game I don't think that they're going to win, whatever. But here's the school of thought there. There's actually two schools of thought on that second school of thought. We're going to school on this Sunday, guys. The first one is you get the bye week right after Minnesota. Okay, you get 2 weeks to get your ducks in a row, whoever's the interim, whether it's Courtney Hawkins, whether it's J-Bat himself, or hey, Tom Izzo, come on down. You've done enough for this university. If you want to have some fun on the sideline, get on over here and get a headset. Who cares at this point? But yeah, you get the bye week. And, my thought, and this is a ridiculous thought here, is don't give Michigan the satisfaction of being the school that finally put the knife into this whole Jonathan Smith tenure here. No. Let the Gophers be able to wave that flag. Come on now. Look, we're going to go to some thoughts on Twitter right now. Ryan wrote in, there was some fight in the team. Some scheme was good at times, yes. That's a tough place to play now. That being said, we need a coach and a team who are born to play in it. I stand by. No matter the score, don't fire him after Michigan, as I don't want to hear it from them. See, I'm not the only one that agrees with that. Don't give Michigan fans any more bragging rights than they're already going to get here. And let's talk about that Michigan game here for a little bit because, yes, kickoff time was announced at 7:30 p.m. I don't have a hard take on the game time. I usually do, but this one, whatever. You watch the game. You just go straight to bed if you're a healthy individual. If you're like me, you'll be stewing on it for a little bit, and then your bedtime gets pushed back to like 2 or 3 a.m., but whatever. If you're a healthy individual, great spot to be in. Watch the game. Go right to bed. Start Sunday like nothing ever happened. If it was a noon game, hey, we get it over with as soon as possible, and I'm talking in inevitabilities, I notice. It is a 12.5-point spread. That's almost 2 touchdowns. Do I think that they can beat Michigan? Can with a lowercase c in type 4 font. Believe it. I know when I just said that, every Michigan fan just took that as, oh my God, this guy thinks he's going to beat Michigan. No, I'm putting it at like a 7.6% chance that they could actually beat Michigan. It just doesn't. I don't know. I'm walking into this game with similar vibes of 2023 in the sense of this is probably the least passionate I've been going into a rivalry game. And that's not me being like, oh, waving the white flag, accepting defeat. No, that's more so like this whole thing seems like a Walking Dead organization right now. Kind of like in 2023, you have substitute teacher Harlan Barnett. You got a bunch of guys that are inevitably going to leave in the offseason. And it didn't help in 2023 that Michigan, cheating or not cheating, was a wagon of a team, and we are going to get our teeth kicked in. This year, it's more so like, I just think it's a dead man walking organization. Let's say by the grace of God, Michigan State does beat Michigan this Saturday. That'd be hilarious. I mean, if not for nothing else, but also okay, that's good. That's good momentum to have, especially within your own state. But what if this win doesn't even do anything for keeping Smith around? Does the momentum that you get from a win even mean anything? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm rooting for a win here. We will be getting jokes off. We will be loud about it. But, I don't know. I'm not walking into this with the same passion of 2021, 2022, even for that matter. I mean, heck, even last year's game, I think, had a lot on the line and definitely a winnable game until Michigan State pointed the revolver straight at their foot and just unloaded the clip. But, yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I'll watch. I'm excited. I'll engage in rivalry banter, but it's just kind of what we talked about in the first segment, guys. I mean, 25-point loss. It's not so bad. Cool. It's just it's the most apathetic you've been walking into a rivalry week. And I have a hard time believing I'm the only one that feels that way about it. So, catch the fever. Paul Bunyan week. Woohoo! Yeah, we're going to talk about a sport that actually did well here for a hot second, and then we're going to get to your thoughts. But, guys, first, need to talk your ears off about Monarch Money. That's right, guys. Hey, I get it. Let's be honest. Most of us can't even name all of our financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, savings, investments. It's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. And that's why I started using Monarch Money, an all-in-one personal finance tool that helps bring your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Guys, it's helping me organize accounts, track spending, get a better handle on my investments without having to touch a spreadsheet. That's right. Goodbye, Excel. And hello to Monarch Money. Now, guys, don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks here, especially with these great savings. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's that's monarch.com. Monarch.com. Code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Again, guys, it's monarch.com. Also, look your best for the rest of this football season or for hockey season, basketball season with Alumni Hall, because yes, they have the largest selection of officially licensed gear from all the top brands you're looking for. Nike, Columbia, Champion, Yeti, New Era, so many more. They have all the apparel for the entire family from kids to adults, plus a huge selection of hats, gifts, and all the tailgating gear you could want to make your setup the best in the lots this season. And they're taking care of the Spartan community because Michigan State students and faculty, as well as military and all first responders, you get 10% off with a valid ID in the store. And on top of all that, you're going to want to follow Alumni Hall on social media and download the Alumni Hall app, because that is where you will find special offers and even more sales. So pop into Alumni Hall in the Eastwood Town Center in Lansing near the Apple Store, or shop online or through their app. And the best part is, for every $150 you spend, you get $10 in hall cash to use for the next time. So grab your new game day look or upgrade your tailgate with Alumni Hall, your ultimate Michigan State shopping destination. On the banks of the Red Sea, there's a school that's known to all. Its specialty is winning, and the Spartans play good hockey. That's right. I'm just trying to bring a smile to today's show. But hockey, my God, gave us a reason to do it. Hit the road to number one, Boston University, and beat the brakes off the Terriers Saturday. On Friday night, 4-2 win, and they got that second goal on an empty netter. This was a total domination. That was not, of course, a fluky upset. Michigan State dominated that game, 30 shots to 18 shots. Caden Lindstrom, how about this from the young man? 2 points, got his first collegiate goal. They outclassed Boston, and obviously, Jeremy Dewar of Spartans Illustrated, way more qualified to speak hockey than myself. But even, kind of just like a casual hockey observer can realize, okay, I'm starting to see it now. After, a little wonky split against New Hampshire to start the season. But, man, when the broadcasting team headlined by John Butchergrass was talking about your third line has 2 guys that were like top 2-round draft picks in the NHL, okay, this team's going to be just a little bit okay this season. So they got the decisive 4-2. Really felt like a 4-1 victory on Friday. And then Saturday for the encore, 4-3 in overtime on a Riker League game winner. And 7 seconds before that, Shane Vinsagi saved the game. This game was you couldn't slide a piece of paper between the puck and the goal line. I'm sure you've seen the replay by now on social media. Scooping it right out of the net. And then, of course, pushing the puck up, Riker League game winner, 4-3 against Boston. And you already know it, Trey Augustine, he had a solid weekend as well. He was north of 90% in save percentage on both nights. So, hey, before we get into your thoughts here on Michigan State football, just had to shout out hockey because, well, That was some of your guys' thoughts, actually, is that we should be talking about hockey and only make this a hockey episode. So, yeah, just wanted to give some shine on them right now. So, guys, there's a few ways to get a hold of us. I've shouted it out, lockedonspartans@gmail.com. You can reach out to me, Sheehan_sports, because on Twitter I did ask for your thoughts after the game, and you guys came through once again. Or behind door number 3 of how to get a hold of me is by just texting me in my personal number. Now, I'm not going to give that out, but someone does have my personal number, and that would be my own mother. So, yeah, shout out Mom. Her thought after the game was my game day take. Who's doing the halftime speeches? They need to be fired. Now, this is my mom who talked about, as I was driving her to the airport on Friday, she said, am I like the only Michigan State fan that's still positive on this season of Jonathan Smith? And I said, yeah. Yes, you are, actually. So that's my mom saying that people need to be fired, especially after the halftime. Correct me if I'm wrong. I should have done due diligence and actually researched this to double check it, but I'm pretty sure Michigan State has only outscored one FBS opponent. Maybe it's just Power 4 opponent in the second half, and that was Boston College when they won in double overtime, which is there a funnier thing to look at in hindsight than that game? Double overtime, celebration, beat Boston College, and then Boston College sucks. Like you think we're bad, and we are, but they are horrible. So it's, yeah. In hindsight, probably should have kept the fireworks in the launcher at that point. That was, oh boy, a very foreshadowing game in hindsight that you needed double overtime at home to beat Boston College. Anyway, let's move on here. T wrote in, we're at the point where more fans are mad at Smith for kicking a field goal to ruin their bets against MSU than losing the game. T, I don't know if you're joking or not, but that's actually dead serious. We got a lot of people upset that they spoiled their weekend and crashed the Indiana minus 26.5 bet on that last second field goal. And Smith was asked about that after the game. Look, I'm not going to, just say he was doing anything nefarious. I'm not going to go that far. But I will say, like, oh, that's convenient. Anyway, he said that they wanted Martin Connington to get a field goal rep with, like, that weather. And I get it, sure. Whatever. Yeah. I'm more upset that I took over 54.5 while the game closed at over 49.5. And that over bet hit, but the 54.5 did not hit. Anyway, no one wants to hear about my gambling stories. So let's see here. Jamal writes in, man, we've got a quarterback and receiver that could really be explosive if we had a run game, a decent O-line, and a defense that could get stops. That right there is why I'm as helpless as I am against Michigan. The defense can't tackle. Like Michigan's run game, whether they have Justice Haynes or not, is going to be talent-wise superior to Michigan State. You're going to have to bring guys down on the field. I know that's really going into the weeds here on X's and O's, but yeah, tackling helps in football, and Michigan State has the third most missed tackles in the conference right now, and that's just not going to be a winner here. Jamal also writes in, Childs was robbed of a touchdown to finish his big rush due to terrible offensive line blocking. Yeah, at least they pass protected well enough in the first half, but I think that was also a credit to how quick they were getting rid of the ball here. Logan wants to talk about the defense. He's got some numbers that are going to make us all smile here. Logan writes in, Smith's defense versus Power 5 teams since the Michigan game last year. Now get a pen and paper out because this is going to be a lot of numbers. 38, 38, 38, 45, 42, 41, 24 against Purdue, 38, 47, 9 games over 38 points, and to think we used to be the no-fly zone. Yeah, our identity, I was kind of doing some crowd work earlier. I was kind of doing a bit where I said, like, our identity is just missing tackles and not lining up correctly, but no, actually, the more I think about that actually just might be Michigan State's identity, is just slop and injuries, but mostly slop. Told myself I wouldn't get upset this episode. Here we are. Alan writes in, will Childs win another game at MSU? Before a knee-jerk answer, think about it for a minute. I would say the odds are favoring no by losing out and then transferring. I don't want to speculate on the transfer thing. I think that we could all just, think in our own adult minds what could possibly happen this offseason. but I'm not just going to just say it out loud because I'm just going to focus on this season. But how about this? Will we win another game this year? I'd be stunned, but there's someone that actually does not think that. Give Smith 3 years. That's their Twitter name. Give Smith 3 years. So we know that they're in the minority. They want Smith to come back another year. I appreciate being strong in that opinion. He says, if we can build on what we accomplished today, I see a bowl game. Here's what we got the rest of the season. Michigan at home. Minnesota on the road. Bye week. Penn State, who's obviously not the Penn State that we thought they were going to be before the season. And that's at home. That actually might be the closest spread Michigan State has the rest of the season. Then they got to go on the road to Iowa and then Maryland at Ford Field. And the sick part, I'm excited to actually go to that game still. I can't quit this team. I need my head checked. Man, can you get 3? One person's asking, can we get a single win the rest of the year? The other person's saying we're going to get at least 3 wins the rest of the year. If I had to pick 3 most likely wins out of that bunch, it's got to start this weekend. And then you parlay that into positive momentum. You hit the road, you beat Minnesota, and then out of the bye week, oh, God, is it just the next 3 games are the most likely? No, let's do Michigan. It's the 3 home games. It's Michigan. It's Penn State. It's Maryland. If you want to swap Iowa for Michigan, I'm not going to fight you on. I'm not going to fight you on any of these because I quite frankly don't think they win more than 1 game the rest of the year. But if I had to pick 3 games, yeah, Michigan, Penn State, and then Maryland. Smith versus Loxley, the buyout bowl. After this buyout bowl this upcoming week. That's the other interesting thing about this Michigan game, too, is like, to go back to the earlier segment, if you beat Michigan, like, does the momentum really matter? But also, like, you beat Michigan. Is that enough to keep Smith here another year? It might. I'm not saying, like, it doesn't matter, but I kind of lean on the side of maybe not, unless you could parlay that into a few more wins and get a bowl game. But then you beat Michigan. Like, whew, Sharon Moore's going to be in the hot seat. Do you really want to get in a coaching carousel the same year as Michigan, too? As if it isn't already going to be hard enough with, the Arkansas of the world. Maybe Florida opens up. Certainly Penn State's open. If Matt Rule goes to Penn State, then Nebraska's open. Will Wisconsin be open? Like, there's already a lot of, like, decent jobs here. Do you really want to throw, like, another premier job in there with Michigan as you're trying to find a head coach? I don't know. Again, I want to be clear. Like, I am rooting for a win. Like, I would like to see Michigan State win this game, but, like, it's just the outcome – it would be the strangest, like, victory outcome. Like, yeah, that's right. Suck it, Michigan. But what does that mean for us now? Like, are we all back in? Are we kind of, like, half pregnant with this thing? Like, what's going on here? But I don't know. Guys, we're going to talk the entire week about this upcoming Michigan game. We're going to get some guests on. We got Chris Castellani on deck. We're going to have a former linebacker that we've never had on the show before that had some great moments in this rivalry game slated. I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it. We're going to have Graham Couch on later this week. We're going to be talking with Chase Glasser, who does a great job at looking at both sides of this rivalry. But guys, until then, take care of yourselves. Love you all. Go Green.